I'm Lisa.
I'm Charlie.
Welcome to our Georgia Suburban Homestead.
So, why homestead? To me, homesteading is about food security. And in the last 2 years, maybe, with the pandemic, I think all of us have been aware of the reduced choices at supermarkets and the disruption to the supply chain, and what that has meant to American families, at least, trying to keep their diets healthy. But initially, we've been homesteading for many, many years. It's just before it was even called homesteading and before it was a thing.
It used to be called farming.
Yeah. But it is possible to do that without moving to the country and buying acres of land and sinking thousands of dollars into your farm equipment. You can do it right at home in a residential neighborhood, in your backyard, or even your front yard, as we're doing here. We'll show you how to do that. We are currently on 3/4 of an acre in North Georgia, just above Atlanta. Part of our lot is covered in trees, and the other is shaded, and then the front yard has the best sun. So we're putting raised beds in the front this winter, as the backyard trees are getting taller and taller and taking the sun away from the gardens we have there. But one of the things if you decide you want to try this project, is the first thing you need to do is look at your county or city code enforcement rules, the city ordinances or county ordinances, and make sure that you're allowed to do things like have chickens or to grow vegetables in your front yard. Or bees. And we were delighted when we're looking for a place to move from South Florida to North Georgia. We were delighted to find a county that not only allows backyard chickens, but also backyard beehives. So we have both, and we'll be doing videos on that. But we'll do a really quick tour here. It's raining a little bit, so we may delay it, but we're going to do a tour and just quickly show you what we've got going, and you can watch it grow and green up. One advantage of launching this channel today, which is January 2nd, 2022, is you'll be able to see the property as it's dormant. And as things green up and plants go in and plants come out, you can experience that with us. We welcome kind comments. I know I've got the face for radio, Charlie's the pretty one. But kind comments are always welcome, and invite I invite participation. So leave your comments below, and if this sounds like a project that you're interested in following, please hit the subscribe button and the thumbs up, and come grow with us. This is our front yard. I'm standing on our front porch. And just to show you what we have volunteered this winter is our Indian mustard, which is really, really yummy. Each pink flag you see here marks an echinacea. We have a leaf impression in cement that I made from an elephant ear that acts as a bird bath. The birds really like to utilize this. But if we walk this way, I'll show you what we're up to here in the front yard. We're establishing new raised beds around our bird feeders, which will be home to shade-loving plants. I like whimsy, so we've got a bat. The squirrels love to jump off this hook and cling to the bat and spin it, which I think is hilarious. So we're going to walk through here, and Charlie has been making steps for us. We're getting older and not as sure-footed as we used to be. So he's in the process of building steps. We're going to put some more gravel down to make it stable, and then put down pavers so that little old folks like me can step down these steps without tumbling and slipping, because you know, Georgia here, we don't have soil, we have red clay, and it gets pretty slick in the winter. So this is a project in motion. And Charlie has put in many things on the property since we moved here in 2014 that the native peoples used as food crops. And this is one of them, and I'll let him tell you about it. Just want to show you what kind of rain we had overnight. Look at all that water. That's just in one evening. So, Charlie, what do we have here?
These are hazelnuts. This is the male bloom. The male bloom comes out in the fall. The female bloom will be a very tiny red flower on the edge of a bud, and it comes out in springtime. And you may wonder, well, how does the pollen get from the catkins, which will tend to fall off before the female blooms come out? And the understanding is the pollen actually gets collected into the bud itself and is stored over winter and somehow gets to the flower.
But you'll be talking about that in detail in a detailed video, won't you?
Hope to.
Hope to, inshallah, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So here is our little garden up the hill that was not here when we moved in, and we put in these pomegranate trees, which bloomed for the first time last year. So this year they should give us pretty good fruit. But if you look at these little groupings of sticks, especially the one here next to the water bottle, we do upcycle here, and you'll see all sorts of things. Don't be afraid to ask questions if we fail to describe what we're doing. But that's a water bottle that it's on a spigot type thing that you stick down into the earth. And he'll mix liquid fertilizers in to feed the shrubs. Look, this little bush that we planted just a few weeks ago has buds on it, and that's a blueberry. This sad little stump here was an Asian pear, and we'll talk about why we had to cut it out. It was producing prolifically, and we never got fruit because of diseases that were caused by this beautiful cedar tree. And we'll talk about that in a video. Over on this side of the property, we have a cherry tree that, yes, produces. It's kind of a Bing type cherry. We've got mulberry, more mulberry, edible flowers, rosemary that's going to be coming out, and new raised beds that we're putting in with the straw bale technique, which will be a topic of another video. And back up the hill we have an almond tree that, Charlie, you want to go show us the almond tree and touch it for us? The camera has a little bit of a hard time focusing. So this is Charlie's almond tree. I guess it's safe to say Charlie likes nuts.
Birds of a feather.
Birds of a feather, yeah. I like nuts too, especially the two-legged kind. So if you look down into the grass, or we don't have grass, we're a member of the Meadows, Not Lawns movement. And Charles came out a couple of years ago and seeded this clover. It's pink clover, which has phenomenal medicinal purposes as well as just tasting good. And we'll talk about that in a future video. On up the hill here, we have the smaller bale bed that we're putting in that I'm going to dedicate to ginger, turmeric, and lemongrass. Yes, you can grow those in North Georgia. This is zone 7B8A. As most of you are probably aware, our weather patterns are shifting and things are getting warmer, so we can grow some tropicals here in North Georgia, and they will overwinter. So it doesn't look like much out here now because everything is dormant. And I'll show you the topic of another video we'll do, and I'll do a workshop on how to do this, and you can build along with me during my workshops. This is a solitary bee house, which will house, or see the tubes that are full, some of those are mason bees, which come out in the early spring and pollinate the blueberries and the raspberries and the flowering fruit trees. And some are leaf cutters, which come out as super pollinators further in the season. But that is a topic of another video. So tune in.